let's take a look at our practice problems from 2010. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at the A problem, which gives us 4 logical statements and asks us to put them together to form a logical conclusion. The first thing we're going to do is look for the statement that is not conditional. That would be the 4th statement. We need to use that as a starting point. In order to continue, we'll need to connect this to a conditional statement. Let's take a look at the conditional statement that has D in it. That's the second one. We'll take a closer look at the bottom. This is a biconditional statement, which means 2 things. If C, then D, or if D, then C. We're mainly interested in the first one, since the contrapositive of the first part is if not D, then not C. This is something that we can use as part of our statement chain to solve this problem. If not D, then not C. We've made one connection. Now we'll need to connect not C to something. We can use the 3rd statement to do that. If not C, then not A is also true. If not A is true, then B must be true. We've now made a chain of statements leading from not D to B. Therefore, the conclusion using all 4 statements is that B must be true. Now, let's take a look at the B problem for 2010. Go ahead and press pause while you read the problem. By now, you should have determined that this is a truth evaluation problem. In order to solve this problem, we'll have to do 2 steps. First, we'll list all of the possible outcomes, and then we'll evaluate the truth of each statement under each possible outcome. The outcomes of this situation can fit nicely into a grid. Let's take a look at the first creature A. There's only 2 options for what type of creature A could be. Creature A could either be an Ushi or a Gurdjieff. Same for creature B. Creature B could either be an Ushi or a Gurdjieff. Now, let's take a look at which statements would be true under each situation. In the first box, if A and B are both Ushi, they would always be telling the truth. Well, if we look at statement number 1, which says B is a Gurdjieff, that would be a false statement. If we look at statement 2, which says one of us is an Ushi, well, that would be true. But not both of these statements are true, so they cannot both be Ushi. This box is not our answer. Let's move on. In the next box, where A is an Ushi and B is a Gurdjieff, we'll evaluate the statements one more time. This time, A's statement would be true. B is a Gurdjieff. B's statement, one of us is an Ushi, would also be true. However, if B is a Gurdjieff, they could not have made a true statement. We're still looking for where A's statement is true and B's statement is false. This box is not the answer either. Moving on, let's take a look at this box where A is a Gurdjieff and B is an Ushi. Statement 1, B is a Gurdjieff, would be false. Statement 2, one of us is an Ushi, would be true. Because A, the Gurdjieff, made a false statement, and B, the Ushi, made a true statement, this is our answer. We know that A is a Gurdjieff, and B is an Ushi. Now it's time to take a look at the C problem for 2010. Please press pause while you read the question and copy this diagram onto your paper. We'll use this diagram whenever we see a triple exclusion problem. Our clue is that we have three categories which are all mutually exclusive. The three names, the three modes of transportation, and the three amusement parks will have no overlap. The problem actually tells us that each mode of transportation is different, but we can figure out that the amusement parks are different from the fifth clue, as well as the first and the second, which tell us that one went to Disneyland, one went to SeaWorld, and one went to Magic Mountain. We'll begin by labeling our diagram. The three amusement parks are Disney World, SeaWorld, and Magic Mountain. The three Muppets were Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear. The three modes of transportation were bike, car, or bus. Now, we'll use this diagram to complete our problem. Remember, only one in each category will be true for each category or character. Our first clue is that Kermit the Frog went to Disneyland. So we'll find the intersection of Kermit the Frog and Disneyland. I'm sorry, I put Disney World. Let's change that to Disneyland. Kermit went to Disney World, or Disneyland, which means that Kermit did not go anywhere else, and nobody else went to Disneyland. We can cross off those because these categories are mutually exclusive. The second clue is that the Muppet went to SeaWorld and used a bike. Once again, we'll find the intersection of bike and SeaWorld. That means the Muppet that went to SeaWorld did not use a car or bus. The Muppet that used a bike did not go to Disneyland or Magic Mountain. Our third clue is that Miss Piggy went in a car. So we'll look for the intersection of Miss Piggy and car, which means that Miss Piggy did not use the other modes of transportation, and nobody else used a car. All we need is one more clue to be able to figure out which Muppet went to which amusement park in which vehicle. The fourth clue says that Fozzie Bear did not use a bus. So Fozzie Bear and bus would get an X. This means who used a bus? It must have been Kermit. What did Fozzie Bear use? It must have been a bike. Now we've completed the top grid. We can use this information to fill out the other two grids. Because Kermit went to Disneyland and took a bus, we can fill in the triangle so that the O's are all in line. This means that the Muppet that went to Magic Mountain used a car, which means that it must be Miss Piggy. Now you have enough information to finish the answer grid. Fozzie Bear went to SeaWorld, and he took a bike. Kermit the Frog went to Disneyland, and he took a bus. Miss Piggy went to Magic Mountain, and she took a car. Now we've solved all three problems for 2010. Let's take a look 1 year back at 2009.